I was only 4 years old when my parents moved to the United Kingdom. My parents were originally from Bangladesh. My dad, during the partition, or just after the partition actually, I think, he left to go to the United Kingdom as a labourer, because that's where Britain was bringing people in from its colonies all over the world. So like I said, I was 4 years old. I've got very little memories of my early years, but there's one memory that I do have, and that memory was when we had travelled to Dhaka to take the plane to go to the UK, London. And I remember being in a building, walking down a flight of stairs, well, lots of flight of stairs. And every floor I was on, I would come down the floor, go around the stairs, expecting to see the open road. But all I could see was I had returned to the same place again. Because I was going down the stairs, I didn't know how they worked. And every floor looked the same. So obviously I wasn't recognizing, maybe there was no numbers there anyway, but I wouldn't recognize the numbers telling me that I've gone from floor 5 to floor 4. And I felt like it was very magical. It's the first time I was in a building with stairwell in it. And that was my first memory of being in Bangladesh, because when you live in the villages, more in Sylhet, I don't think they had back then, buildings with several floors on them where they had stairwells like this. That would only be in the capital of Dhaka. And yeah, that was just a magical feeling for me. My mother tongue is originally, Bengali, Sylheti to be specific. But because I was so young and going to school in Britain where I was learning the English language, I lost that connection. I lost a lot of Bengali, the skills to speak Bengali. My parents would only speak Bengali at home, Sylheti, but I didn't really like it. And I had this inferiority complex. That's what I felt that I had. I really wanted to be like, the English people and speak their language and learn it. And I struggled with that too. I would find it very difficult to use certain words in sentences. I didn't know whether this was the appropriate word, and I would feel that pressure. So it was quite basic English. But Alhamdulillah, I went to school, got my GCSEs and got A's and A stars in English language. And of course I became a maths teacher at the end of the day. So I think I did well, with the education that was offered to me. But in 2017, I came and did this charity project, and I really reconnected again with Bangladesh and the beauty of its people. Because now I was a lot older and I was able to understand and appreciate a lot more. And I found myself feeling quite guilty that I had disconnected like that. And since that day, I've been trying to revisit as often as I can and reconnect and also learn the language better. So now I'm able to speak a little bit better than I did back then. Now, another reason why I think that it's really important for people of my generation to start thinking about these kind of things is because we've got children now and we're witnessing them growing up in the western parts of the world, and they are, if we had lost some connection, they have no connection. They have nothing at all with the people of Bangladesh and with Bangladesh itself. And my children, they don't even know how to speak Bengali. They don't understand it. When my mom or their grandma would try to speak to them in Bengali, they would find it hard to communicate. So just imagine, this will be a generation that will be completely lost from this culture and tradition. And I think it's really important that, given how, there's this thing, guys, where Loki said in one of his, Loki's a rapper, if you don't know who he is, but there was this song that he made where he said, one of the lyrics was, "I feel like an Englishman amongst Arabs and an Arab amongst Englishmen." And what this means is he's never accepted or made to feel accepted anywhere. And I feel the same. Whenever I come to Bangladesh, the people here know that I'm a foreigner. They look at me differently. Perhaps it's the way I look, it's the way I dress, it's the way I behave, maybe, the way I walk. It could be any one of those things. They won't treat me like a local. Even though now I can speak the language fairly well, they would never treat me like a local. And the same thing in Britain. In Britain, there's a whole debate about whether you're English or not, whether you're British or not, what makes you British. This is affecting us, and it's going to affect our children as well. So that's why I believe it's quite important that we educate our children by, first of all, we connect ourselves, especially my generation of people who came from the early immigrant families, and we settled over there. Our parents didn't know that they were going to go there to settle. Remember, they came thinking that they're going to do labor jobs, send money back home, and then come back after a while. But they didn't know that they would stay there and establish themselves and settle there permanently. But we have grown, either been born in the UK, or like myself, we were very young when we came over there and we've settled there. But does it feel like home? If you ask me that question, does the UK feel like home? Yes, the UK feels like more like home to me than anywhere else. But of course, you know, there's, like I said, the debate going on, and it's not home. We're not made to feel like it's home. So I'm here in Bangladesh. I've actually come here this time, not just for leisure and tourism, but to actually make a national identity card. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get an identity card made for myself in Bangladesh, because my father has some property and lands here which I need, you know, inheritance to. Now, I didn't used to care about this kind of stuff. I thought, nah, I'm living in the UK, I don't need this stuff. But as I am witnessing the kind of things that are happening in Britain, I have to take this thing more seriously. So that's what I'm doing. If you're in a similar situation, I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Perhaps you are yourself from Bangladesh and you're finding yourself in a similar thinking mode. I've got a friend actually, when I was coming here, he's an expat in Qatar, an expat, because it's okay to be an expat when you're from Britain and you're an immigrant anywhere else. You know, if you're from one of these developing or third world countries there, and you go anywhere else, you're a refugee or an immigrant, but you're an expat if you go from the western part of the world and settle and stay in one of the other countries. You know, he said that he's actually starting to think about, you know, reconnecting himself to Bangladesh, and he's trying to get himself the ID cards and everything, because we are at an age now where our parents have either died or are about to die, and we've got to start picking up, you know, all the properties and deal with all of the issues that arise from that. And so we've got to step up now. So if you're in a similar situation, let me hear what you guys have been doing and what you guys think about these things that I've been talking about. I'd love to hear your views and opinions. Maybe I'm panicking, maybe I'm over exaggerating, who knows?